Welcome back, viewers. You are still tuned into Prime Live. We are still in the theme of motivation, and we have a motivational and inspiration conversation. Today, we have the privilege of speaking to Mogen Naidoo, who is a distinguished entrepreneur, professional, and motivational speaker. Mogen has been recognized by the Allan Gray Orbis Foundation for his outstanding contributions in the world of business and beyond. His journey is not just about professional success, but also about motivating and empowering others to reach their full potential. Mogen, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us on Prime Live this evening.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
I think to start off our conversation, you have been recognized for your contribution in the world of business as well as entrepreneurship. So let's start our conversation today by talking a little bit more about your journey and what inspired you to get into the realm of entrepreneurship.
Okay, so honestly, I've been 13 years in corporate, and I come from background in terms of I studied ICT at UCT, and did my master's degree there, and just quite recently I got my MBA at Gibbs. So it was just a transition in terms of moving from having that corporate experience, and then in all honesty, when you start having issues where you start, like from a job perspective, and you can't get a job. So it forces you to look at alternative ways to actually get into business, and you need to make money and such, right? So that kind of transitioned me from that space. I'm not sure back in the days when I tried to get back into corporate or finding a job and such, whether it was that I was overqualified or maybe from too expensive, in terms of getting into. Been to lots of interviews and such, but end of the day, it was time consuming, and so at that stage where you built a lifestyle, around from your experience in corporate and such, and you have to meet daily needs, and then that really forced me into getting into entrepreneurship. And that's my transition from work to entrepreneurship and running my own businesses. Yeah.
No, that's incredible. Yeah. And I love that you took a difficult situation and you didn't take it lying down. You absolutely were forthcoming with it, and you decided to make a decision and start your own business and delve into the realm of entrepreneurship, which is not an easy decision at all. And entrepreneurship comes with its own set of challenges. But I think a lot of South Africans and a lot of viewers at home watching right now will absolutely be able to relate to what you're talking about. Yeah. Because the job market is so unstable at the moment, it isn't always possible to stay in your corporate 9-to-5 for as long as you would like to. And it does become quite comfortable to stay there. However, our job market and unemployment is a huge issue in South Africa at the moment. So I really commend you on, the effort that you made in order to get yourself out of that difficult situation. And I know that it will inspire a lot of our viewers this evening as well to do the same, especially if they are in a similar situation. Yeah. You are also a motivational speaker. So you're not just in the professional and entrepreneurship space, but you do use your platform to motivate others as well. Can you talk to us a little bit more about your journey as a motivational speaker? Yeah. Was it something that you've undertaken recently, or is it something that you've always kind of just been passionate about?
So it's a mixture of both. I think so my background, I did have issues in terms of addiction and recovery. So I'm in recovery at the moment. And at that transition, so back in the days, I would advise the youngsters to look for mentors and coaches and such. So I didn't have that. So as I transitioned from, during the issues and problems that I tried to solve from a personal perspective and how it led to me establishing myself as a business, I didn't have that mentorship, even though I reached out at times, but maybe I didn't put in enough effort to actually go out and look for that coaching ability or mentorship. So I did it on my own. I went. When I established my businesses, I was on YouTube, I self-taught, and in the last 6 to 7 years, to be honest, building that resiliency and stuff, when you start formulating your businesses and you look at, I believe that, the situation that you're in puts you into a zone where you tend to learn more than what I've done as one skill set in my corporate entity. So I looked at that and looked at my passion in life, and it was about service. I was missing that purpose. And when I established that purpose and understood my purpose in life, when I came out of recovery, I was missing that. So then I took that and said, okay, why don't I help people in terms of so that all the mistakes that I've made, they don't have to make the same mistakes, and I can guide them and assist them. And that was my whole, establishment of helping people. And when I started helping and reaching, and people started reaching out to me to say, how can you assist me with my business, or I have a personal problem, whether it's from recovery or addiction component. And also for the transition from career guidance with kids' schools, and then that built on. And I don't have a certification in coaching, but all my years of experience and going on courses and obviously giving back to the communities, I've built that mindset and moved on to, that's my coaching experience that I could give back to.
That's extremely admirable. I mean, using your difficult experiences, thank you for being vulnerable with us this evening as well. Using your difficult experiences, your knowledge and the skills, and the life lessons you learned from your own experiences, and deciding to make a decision to share that with the world is absolutely a very vulnerable thing, but also an extremely admirable thing, because there are many people out there who are going through similar issues with addiction and aren't sure of where to go, how to turn, and how to actually turn their lives around. And I think when you're stuck in that vicious cycle, it's very hard to see a way out of that. And for you to come forward and say that, look at me now, and it is possible, and this is how you can do it, and this is the steps you can actually take to get there, is extremely admirable. And I agree with you completely. The sentiments you shared are incredibly important. Mentorship and guidance, and having a coach, having someone to have that sort of vision and foresight for you is incredibly important, especially for young people, especially if they don't exactly know where to go, what to do as yet. Having that individual who's there by their side to, yes, allow them to reach their full potential, but also to have that foresight to be able to say, maybe we should develop your soft skills, maybe let's do this if this is the direction you want to go, and what are you passionate about. Purpose is something that is so important to be able to be able to find in your life. And I think a lot of people in the world are constantly on a journey of finding their purpose, and it's really amazing that you have been able to find yours, and you're helping so many people along the way with that, as well as the young kids with the career guidance as well. Now, in the world of entrepreneurship, it can be extremely challenging, especially when you're coming from a corporate lifestyle, and transitioning into entrepreneurship can come with a lot of challenges. Can you talk to us about some of your early onset challenges with entrepreneurship and how you managed to overcome them?
Very, very good question, because initially I was, I would say, from a financial perspective. So I saw a good idea, and you're quite excited and blown away by it. And then I transitioned immediately just took that step and just jumped ship and went into entrepreneurship. First year of the first business that I formed was really great. We did phenomenally well. We had contracts coming in. By the second year, I think people's economy went bad, and people started tightening their belts, and so that put quite a big dent. So if I could relate back to that situation, I would say that people, if they're having an idea in terms of entrepreneurship from a financial perspective, because you need to put food on your table, right? And not worry about the sales and such. So once you have your lifestyle sort of sorted out from a financial perspective, then the business will start going. So I would say keep it as a side hustle first. When you build that momentum in your business to move forward, and then, still keep your 9 to 5. And so you have that financial stability. And that was one of the key challenges that I could, relate to. And if I could recall that, put a sort of a challenge, a damper. But it's perseverance after, it's once you get that first sale, that first bite, it just becomes like, and you see that cash flow in your bank account. It really becomes quite a phenomenal experience. And it's constant learning, and building that network. So from a challenge perspective is, how do you identify the network? Because from that perspective, it also builds a support. An entrepreneurship is a very lonely journey, right? So when you're on the top, right, and you're trying to formulate everything and your business and what's the next steps and such, if you're doing it alone, it does become a lonely journey, and it's a little bit more difficult. Whereas build a support system around yourself in terms of when you're taking your steps into entrepreneurship. Have whether it's your friends who are financiers, your mentorship, key coach. Find those, and also continuous learning. That's also a support system in itself for you as a person. That continuous learning. So a lot of those challenges that I've went through, I've learned. And so going forward, I live by this motto, inspire with success and guide with failure, right? So whatever I do, I also post my failures because one, people need to celebrate with you, celebrate the successes, but also from a failure perspective. Failure is learning. Failure is also that learning comes from the support that you provide yourself. When you're continuously learning, you have to fail at times to learn from mistakes and make new mistakes and move forward. So that's my motto, in the sense that I celebrate with my successes and I guide my mentees or whoever I'm in contact with and providing support to from that perspective.
That's an incredible perspective and some very valuable advice that you've shared just now as well. I love that you talked about how you celebrate your failures and you post about them.
Yeah.
And that's a very different notion for this very social media world that we live in, where it's very much driven by perfection.
Absolutely.
And all these influencers, all these people we follow on social media, these people we look up to, these influencers, don't often share their failures. And it's often difficult, especially for young people, to be able to imagine what an entrepreneurship journey looks like or what an academic journey should look like if their influencers and the people they're looking up to are not sharing in on the difficult experiences that they are also having. But something that is absolutely a huge success for you and is such an incredible honor is that you were actually recognized by the Allan Gray Orbis Foundation. And this is such a significant honor, and really congratulations on that. It's absolutely amazing to be recognized in that way. Can you tell us how this has really affected your life professionally as well as personally?
Okay, so I'm with the Allan Gray Orbis Foundation, and the work that they're doing it's phenomenal. And it really kick-started from when I started my MBA, and I found a gap in my sort of career. And I wanted to take my businesses, bigger. And so the reason why I actually did my MBA at the Gordon Institute of Business Science was because I wanted more of an executive level, understanding leadership position, and also how do I take my businesses in a global multinational strategy perspective. And at that moment, when I was doing that study, they were reaching out to MBAs for coaches to provide support to their initiatives. So Allan Gray, they work with scholars, candidate fellows who are in sort of university, and then associates who are fellows who are obviously past the program, and now they're part of association. So I fall in the association bracket, and the work that I'm doing there, it's just giving back. It's providing an opportunity for basically people to start businesses and understand how entrepreneurship works, and getting the mindset of entrepreneurs. I'm an entrepreneur in residence, and I also have other colleagues with me. They've been in the game. They've been in the industry. They had the challenges that I've experienced. I haven't had a mentor. What did I do in that instance? What can I provide the support that I can give back to? And so just doing what I do and going with the flow, and I think it just resonates with the culture in Allan Gray, and also not only Allan Gray but also beyond in the entrepreneurship ecosystem. And it's about helping, and I think education and entrepreneurship is such key drivers that the country needs to focus on when we're moving forward as to building the economy and creating jobs. It starts from the basis, and the way everything is aligned in Allan Gray Orbis Foundation is that scholars, they're developing this mindset from education scholars. I mean, I started crying when a grade 6 student came, and I was judging a competition, and they came in and water sanitization, very small project, but it was so emotional because the level of ideas that they're bringing at that stage, at that level, was just phenomenal. So I learn a lot. I learn a lot from my mentees and being part of Allan Gray Orbis Foundation. It's not that, yes, I'm giving my sort of passion and my mistakes, what I've learned, and the support to there is that even though from a business level, and I'm very focused on IT, I also mentor other companies in agriculture and stuff, cryptocurrency, whatever the case may be, fintech, so I'm learning also, even though I have that, the core centralized business consulting experience that I provide. But and I think I've grown as an entrepreneur since I've provided services to Allan Gray Orbis Foundation, just understanding that ecosystem, because that's such a key driver for South Africa especially. Getting people to build that resilience, getting people to understand how to run businesses, how to take your ideas to the market, and that's ultimately going to create jobs, create shared value, develop communities. So I hope I didn't speak too much on that. But yeah.
Absolutely. No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, financial education is absolutely going to, harness that entrepreneurial energy in young people who have all these dynamic ideas, and absolutely, that can really be innovative and change South Africa for the better. But it is that investment into that financial education and giving them the platform, the tools, and the best possible information for them to be able to grow as entrepreneurs and give them the necessary platforms to do that. But before we let you go, are there any initiatives or anything like that coming up that we can maybe be looking forward to rather?
I pretty much go with the flow. So let's think. I also involved, besides running 3 businesses in IT, telecoms, and Africa advisory, I own a martial arts dojo. So we, from the key initiatives of taking, we're developing tribe martial arts in Quan vessels that I teach. So we do Kyokushin karate, and we are actually developing youngsters, and we're reaching out to Deep Sloot townships and Alexandra that we're involved in. They come to the dojo, we sort of train them and building that martial arts and just giving back to the community, in terms from that perspective. And then, yes, initiatives in terms of getting internships for our companies, getting IT focused and, for learning, especially with AI coming up right now, we want to establish that and sort of grow and, just giving back to the communities and from an education perspective and building that shared value. Can't think off the top of my head right now. There's lots going on. So, but I mean, if anyone wants to find out more, they can reach out to me, and I can provide a lot of information on what's going on, the involvement of the communities. But the big one for now, for me, it's the martial arts. I really very keen and passionate about martial arts, and I want to take that and we see soccer growing, right? But how often do you see karate or martial arts on TV besides UFC, which is, so if we can get that, and, I've seen promising students in there, and really doing well. And it's not only that they're doing from a martial arts perspective, that's karate, but it helps them understand goals. It helps them understand the resilience and discipline and putting the energy into what they're actually doing and understanding that. And it sort of frames their mind. So when they're in school, how do they behave in school? How they get out of school, we also do anti-bullying and what do parents need to do in that situation. So it's a lot beyond just, teaching them martial arts, but it just goes beyond that. From a community perspective.
No, that's incredible. I think martial arts is an amazing way to be able to take control of your mind, your position. It teaches you so much of valuable skills that you can use in your life, like self-discipline, as well as teamwork, as well as many other valuable skills that these children can really, really use into their day-to-day lives. And of course, giving them an interactive and fun skill to be able to use, and you never know, we may be teaching some future Olympians, we never know. But thank you. Let's hope so. Yes. Mr. Naidoo, thank you so much for joining us this evening. This has been a very insightful conversation. So thank you for sharing your entrepreneurial journey, your insight into, yes, your successes, but your failures as well, and being vulnerable enough for sharing that with us as well. And we really commend you on the incredible work that you have done to give back to communities as well. In coming with your success, you are absolutely giving back to the future generations of South Africa. So thank you for joining us this evening.
Great. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Viewers at home, that was Mr. Naidoo. If you would like any further information on some of the karate projects that they have going on, or even some of the entrepreneurial or financial education initiatives that they have going, please do reach out to him on his social media platforms for more information. But on that note, viewers, it is time for us to head over to an ad break, and we'll come right back.